Great to have everyone here. Before we even introduce ourselves and tell you our names, there's something we have to get out of the way, or you will be wondering about it for the next 60 minutes.
There are two questions that people always ask back in the day when we left the house. So two questions: we walk into an office building, we walk past the reception area, and we get these noises. People would be whispering as though tall people can't hear anybody whispering. What do you think they were whispering about?
How tall is he?
That's where we get all
nothing to do about me.
You can definitely tell that in the shot here. Definitely can see that.
Even though I'm wearing heels, for the record.
6'9".
You can do an
We won't
We won't hear it.
And then the follow-up question is, man, did you play
basketball?
And here's the deal. When people ask that question, which I get it every day, I would give the answer. And then once I did, people would look down, gather their thoughts, look back up and say, my God, why did you waste your life? Because Rebecca tears me up on our court.
I killed him on our home court. I wish I could show you because it's a few feet away from here. I have zero athletic ability. I can barely get the ball in the basket. But what I can do is when I stand next to Keith without my heels on, I'm right in his blind spot, and it's a lot of fun to play with. Over the next 60 minutes, this is going to be an interactive class. When you have a question, we want you to ask it. But in order for us to know you have a question, you need to hit the
raise your hand button. Don't physically raise your hand. Hit the button that says raise your hand. And another thing to let you know is we do not have a chat box.
And we'll tell you why later. We have to give you that cliffhanger. I'm Rebecca, this is Keith.
With Tall Small Productions.
And we have been at 3 conclaves and worked with your groups in various cities around the country, and we love working with the American Gem Society. And now, we need everybody. I wish we could hear you groaning for this part. We need you to put down your coffee, put down your lunch, and stand up.
And this is completely trust, because you could just sit there back on your couch and say, I'm not doing anything. But here's the deal. If you don't do anything, you're not going to move anywhere in life. You can make that decision.
Nothing good will happen.
Absolutely. So we need everybody to stand up. Give you a second to stand up, get all that food off your lap. Stand up, raise your arm, and point your finger.
As though we look like we are cult leaders about to take you somewhere, which we are.
Now move somewhere you're not going to hit someone. Most likely you're alone in a room. Move somewhere that you're not going to hit anybody. And here's what you're going to do. You're going to take your arm, take your finger, and go clockwise as far as you can.
And the key here is once you get as far as you can, Keith is going to demonstrate.
Ready? 1, 2, 3.
You need to remember your stopping point. Make sure you fixate your eyes on that place where you stopped and remember.
Remember that exact point. Now everything is going to be done on trust, because you are going to keep standing, keep your feet together, safety first, and you are going to shut your eyes. When we do this in person, we typically tell people to pass their wallets and purses forward.
But we can't steal from
That's why we've hit a bit of a financial crisis.
We'll pass them diamonds.
That's right.
But you're going to close your eyes and you're going to keep them closed until we tell you to open them again.
Keep your eyes shut, and this time, in your imagination, and only in your imagination, you are going to lift your arm, point your finger in your imagination, but this time
you are going to go 25% further, 25% past your first limit.
For folks that aren't good at math, that just means a little bit further. All right, bring your arm back to center, keep your eyes shut. Again, lift your arm, point your finger, and this time you are going to go
50% further, 50%
feel the burn. All right, and for the third time, you're going to
come back to center, and this time you are going to turn into one of those cartoon owls.
You're going to lift your arm, point your finger, but you are going to go 360 degrees around in a circle, defying all physics of your body.
Open your eyes.
Raise your arm, point your finger for real, and this time going clockwise, go as far as you can. 1, 2, 3. How many people went further?
Make some noise that only you will hear. Who went further here?
Yell it out. Yell to yourself. Yell to whoever's home with you. Yell to your dog, cat, neighbor. Doesn't matter.
At this point in our sessions, if you haven't gone further, we send you home.
Go ahead and click off. But why did you? If you went further, why did you go further? Well, here's the deal. Most people started this thing, thought, who are these people and what are they talking about, and I don't really want to do anything. But for the folks that did, you got up, you did your arm, you're like, yeah, that's good enough. And a lot of times in life, we settle with, yeah, that works, that's good enough.
And we're seeing that a lot with Zoom calls, video calls. People will say, yeah, that's good enough. I'm not used to this. I'm not going to be good at this. That's good enough. But when you envision yourself out there doing that call with the same confidence and the same energy that you would do in person, amazing things happen.
And if you went further, it's because you imagined it. You saw yourself as going further. Once you imagine yourself, it's similar to a Zoom call. If you say, oh man, this is not going to work, or Rebecca said, you know, meetings have to be face to face. This new technology is never going to replace it. Well, you're right. It's never going to replace it, but it's all we have right now. So you've got to imagine yourself doing better, closing deals, developing relationships with people.
And now is the time to become bilingual, to get comfortable in this virtual language that maybe you've dabbled in a couple of times before, but now is the time to get comfortable, because trust us, we know that you will use it again. Even once we're back in groups, this is going to be another tool that you have to relate well with your customers, your vendors, and your teams.
That's why we have some tips to start off on things you need to do. How many times have you gotten on a Zoom call with someone and you can count their nose hairs?
It's as though you're placed there to look up their nose and see all kinds of things you really
nasty
don't want to
things.
see. Nose hairs being the most benign of what you might have to see.
Right.
The key is back up. Can you imagine going into a meeting with someone and sitting this close to them? That's what a lot of Zoom calls feel like.
And many times as you walk up to the camera, walk up here, you don't see anything but above here. Now that's not natural. That looks like some kind of prison video service. The fact is you need body language. It's 70% of communication. Use your full body. Step back. Be natural. Many times we're doing these right at our computer. You're going to have to think of a different way. Use your phone. Get a different camera. You need to be able to see the full body.
You're going to need to move. Otherwise, you're going to look like a mugshot. And that's one of the reasons people say, I can't relate to these Zoom calls, because it's one mugshot talking to the other. You want to back up a little bit and make sure that you point your camera down. It's a lot more flattering.
And what happens when you point up, Rebecca?
You see up your nose. You might see twice the number of chins that you actually have. Bad things happen. Trust us. It looks a lot better when you're further back and have that wider shot for the body language. And then you also want to care about what's on the other side of the camera.
What the camera is viewing behind you. Pay attention, because many people, they think, well, the shot's on me, but they're not paying attention to what's behind them. If you've got junk piled up and other things, that is not what you want to be showing people. That's not representative of who you are. If people meet you in the store or meet you for a cup of coffee, they're not seeing all that hidden junk. But many times we think, oh, it doesn't matter. It's just a video call.
We've been on Zoom calls where people are standing in their kitchen, cabinets are open, there are open wrappers of food all around, the sink might be running, and a kid runs through. We get it. We're at home, there are going to be disruptions. Our dog might make a cameo during this. Our kids have sworn they won't. But you want to make sure that you have a set. Think about it as a set. And we always face the window, because when you face the window, you're getting the best natural light.
Fluorescent lights. How many people have seen do their calls in the basement? They got that one light hanging down. It definitely, it looks like a torture chamber, some CIA torture room. You don't want to have that look. You want to create the most natural, flattering light. Invest in. We have it. You can't see it, but a ring light shining on us, because it's about to rain here in Baltimore, Maryland. So have some natural light that comes to you to make it bring out all your features and colors. Because
that overhead light or the fluorescent light, it will cause shadows. It will make it look like you have complete bags, big pieces of luggage under your eyes. So you don't want to do that. We know you're getting more sleep these days. You don't want people to think that you're not. And the ring lights, you can go on Amazon, you can get them for under $100, and it's one of the best investments you can make, because they also come with a stand. And that way you don't have to sit there and hold your phone, because we see a lot of people doing that too. And no one's arm can sit there for an hour.
I've done that many times in the past. It's
Yes.
not fun. Also, eliminate distractions. Don't have weird stuff around you, things that you're looking at, things that you throw you off. If you were meeting with someone and you kept looking off and they kept looking off, you wonder, what am I saying? What's wrong with me? But many times in these calls, we'll be typing to the side, we'll be writing notes. This is a big one. You'll see people writing something looking down. If you have to write notes, let the person, hey, I'm writing notes. Otherwise, they wonder what you're doing with your hands.
Or widen out the shot so that they can see the notes. And you want to avoid having other temptations around you. If you notice, we don't have our cell phones right by, we don't have a laptop, because if you do, we're human. You get that ping, you're going to look and see what it is. And people somehow forget that other people can see it. We've watched people pick their noses, pick their ears, do all kinds of things. Remember, once you're on, you are on.
At all times.
And you also want to avoid that deer in the headlights. There are other people who must enjoy looking at themselves in the mirror all day long, because that's what they do on the Zoom. Do not stare at yourself. You'll come off as a deer in the headlights. It looks something like this.
It's a funny
Not
story.
something you want to see.
We have a cosmetic dentist as a client. We were talking to him saying, you might get a lot of referral because everyone is on these Zoom calls and they're checking themselves out all the time. Guarantee you they're looking at their teeth thinking, man, I need to do something about this, right? Referral city. But the problem is many people are staring at themselves and they're not staring at the other person. That's like going to a party, you're talking to someone and they keep looking over the shoulder and they're trying to see, is someone cooler coming in the room? Is there something I got to hit up even more? And that is a real problem.
Speaking of problems, problems are going to happen when you're on a Zoom call. We have one right now, and we're going to let you know. You can watch how we handle it, because our agenda for today's call disappeared off the screen, and Keith is going to try to rescue that. But you also have to know how to wing things, because if you get dropped offline, these things happen. The show must go on.
Absolutely.
Any questions so far on camera placement and lighting? We dare you. We know one of you will sparkle and have a question.
Someone has a question so far. Guarantee it. Someone out there is thinking of a question and they think, oh, I'm not sure if I should answer that.
But today is your lucky day, because the first person to ask a question on this webinar will receive a complimentary 15. Let's double that.
Oh, you're going to take it.
Complimentary.
Rebecca's going to take it up.
Double that.
a whole
It's a
notch.
reverse auction.
Oh my gosh.
We are offering a 30-minute complimentary consultation with us on any communications challenge for the first person.
Did you really say 30 minutes?
30 minutes.
I thought we had talked about 15. You're taking it to the next level.
I'm taking it to the next level.
Oh my gosh. That
Does
is
somebody
amazing.
have a question?
That is a deal.
You will get a 30-minute complimentary consultation with us.
I've never heard of a deal like
Going
that.
once.
Going twice.
Unsold.
No problem.
You must know it all. Body language. Mentioned that a moment ago, but body language is 70% of communication, and it matters even more on a video call.
70% of communication. Here's the deal. When you go out of your house in the future someday, when you're walking around the street someday in the future, people are watching you at all times and they're making a judgment. It doesn't matter what you say. It's your body language. They are making a judgment in the first 3 seconds about you. They're looking at how you dress. They're coming up with what they think your income is, what they think your education is, your background, because what do we do to people? We thin slice them.
That's in that first few seconds of time, we quickly come up with all those judgments, and it takes far longer to pull them back and change them. And you can't control it all, but you want to give people the best possible first impression. When you use your hands, even more so on a Zoom call, it also prevents you from getting cut off. Because a lot of times people constantly interrupt each other on the Zoom call because they have no idea when someone's about to finish. What Keith and I do is when I'm done talking,
Fold your hands and then open the hands.
whoa.
And then I shut my hands and go ahead. Here's another tip. You're on a call. There's always a delay. When you hear someone's done talking, don't talk right away. Give a second or two and then say something. Otherwise, you're constantly apologizing. Oh, no, you go ahead. You go ahead. And that sounds ridiculous after a while. Pause, let a natural break occur, and then move forward.
Was that a good pregnant
That was
pause?
amazing, Rebecca. It's like boom, boom, boom. You learned it right there. But also use your hands, don't be a zombie. A lot of people think they're natural talking to their friends, and then the camera gets on and they think, and this is natural. We remember in the news, you'd say to people, we do an interview, and they could talk face to face, but then they said, oh, don't put me on the camera. And here's the thing, we're all on cameras now, and we're all looking at each other. A lot of people hate to look at themselves.
And it's easy to forget that you're on camera because if you focus on the other person's eyes, make eye contact, think about it the same as though you're in a meeting face to face, you will quickly forget that camera is even on. There's something else you want to make sure you don't do with your hands. We want you to talk with them, use them, but don't cover your mouth with them.
This is a good thing that the virus has taught us. Do not touch your face that often.
Ever.
They say an average person touches their face about 150, pretty amazed by this statistic.
Yeah.
Rebecca's looking at me like, where'd you get that? 115 times a day. Do not touch your face while you're talking. Do not cover your mouth. Why? Because people read lips.
If you cover your mouth also, it looks like you're imposing a filter. If someone asks you, let's say you're selling someone a ring over Zoom and you're sharing the ring and they begin to ask you questions about the financing and you do this, it looks as though you are self-imposing a filter, which you are. And then people know I can get away with anything I want.
Absolutely. And also remember to smile. You're not about to go on death row. The fact is, you're having a call. Be natural, smile. When you went out to have a meeting or someone came in your store, you weren't glum and boring until the world was going to end. Well, it may end, but you still got to smile and sell in the meanwhile. So you got to have a happy face at all times.
We can't tell you how many times we've had Zoom calls, and we may as well have plucked people out of bed and put them right in front of us because that's how people come to the calls. They don't get dressed. They come with their hair going off in a million directions. They look like mad scientists. And these are people who we know are put together all the time. Take some time to walk in the room the same way you would if someone were coming into your store or your office or you were greeting somebody at your home.
Pull yourself together. You imagine someone parking in your parking lot, riding up to your store and finding trash all over the parking lot, the front door and everything. What would they think of your store? Same thing, you get in someone's car. They got this really nice car. You open the door and there's just junk everywhere. They're not thinking about, man, this is a good person to talk to. They're thinking, what a disgusting pig. Why did they allow their car to look like this? Don't do that to yourself. Don't allow people to make an impression before they've even gotten to know you.
Because that is the junk that people are going to carry around with them in their heads the rest of the time. Also, make sure you don't cross your hands like this.
Ooh, that's a bad one, isn't it?
Or the double cross, if you are letting
This means get away from me.
I'm done with you.
I don't want to talk to you. You're annoying. Another thing is, you notice I just clicked something to move our agenda ahead. Many people will say, oh, I'm so sorry. I just got to step ahead and do this. Don't let people, you don't have to apologize, first of all, but don't always let people know what you're doing. You don't have to explain half the time. It's why magic works. They don't explain every step. You just do it. Imagine if they explained everything they're doing. It wouldn't be magic.
It would take away from the romance of it. Same thing with a diamond. When a customer comes in, they want to know how it's going to sparkle. Maybe they want to know some of the science behind it, but they don't want to know the envelope it sat in before it came, the truck and the plane it may have flown in. That takes away the romance of that diamond. It's the same thing on a Zoom call.
Why are we not allowing a chatbot?
Because we're evil.
We are evil
We're
people.
mean.
You know, people in Baltimore, we got a reputation and keep up. But we don't allow chatbots. Here's the deal. Imagine going to a restaurant and you're having a nice meal and all you're doing is texting back and forth to each other, chatting. That's what happens on many Zoom calls. You have this chat box, you guys focus on that. And listen, we're narcissists. We want you all to ourselves.
We do not want the chat box. If you put it there, people are going to use it and they're not going to converse with you. And when you have the chat box, you lose the body language and you also lose the tone. I bet a lot of you have received this same text. It's only 2 letters long.
Okay.
Okay.
Or okay. You have no idea the tone of what's going on. And something else with the chat box, depending on the size of your laptop, computer, or phone, in the middle of the call, you have all these people going, oh, Johnny, great to see you here. Oh, Sally, thanks for joining. Oh, and they're just meetings that look really odd and weird, right? And you think, no one does that in a meeting. They don't lean forward and announce everyone walking into a door.
And we were guilty of this too. 2 weeks ago, which feels like 200 years ago, when we began doing Facebook Lives every single day because we weren't out there delivering workshops. At first, We greet everybody who came onto that Facebook Live, everyone who came into the webinar by name and a hello. It's completely cheesy. Learn from our failures and don't do it.
I think it's the only one so far.
That was our one failure in life. That was our one. Questions from you. We would love to hear from you. Not only questions for us, those are welcome too, but we want to hear what's been working over the past couple of weeks as you've been working from home and what hasn't. We want to know your wins and your faux pas.
Things that have been an absolute disaster, or things that you're like, man, I had no idea that was going to work so well. I thought this Zoom thing was going to just die, and I got this opportunity. If you have something like that, we want to hear it. And not only do we want to hear it, the rest of the audience wants to hear it, because we are a community here working together. If anything this virus has taught us is that we must work together as a community to share wins and losses.
Because it's a waste of time if everybody out there facing the same exact challenges keeps what's working and what's not working to themselves. This is part of the reason that we have this society, for people to be able to learn together.
So we are going to stand here and say nothing for the next 40 minutes until one question comes around. This is going to be a really fascinating webinar for you. Who's going to break the silence first?
We would love to hear, how are things going for you? How have the last couple of weeks been? We want someone to break the silence.
Well, we're going to do the thing we just said not to do, and we're going to look and see we're live on YouTube.
Oh, can you see me?
Yes.
I can see you. How are you? You are our first question.
Thank you.
I've never done this before, so I wasn't sure how it worked. And I don't know how I really look for you guys. I mean, am I really close?
We're going to tell you what's behind. First of all, tell us your name.
My name is Melanie Scott.
Oh, you share the same last
I know
name.
you're a good person.
She's a plant in the audience. She's really our relative. And where are you right now?
I'm in Pocatello, Idaho, and I'm in my front room in my house.
You offer the best opportunity, because
Yes.
the first thing we're going to talk to you about is you look like you have angel wings, because you have.
And maybe you are angelic. We assume you are, because everybody in your industry is.
You're seeing the background of my.
Exactly. And that's the big thing, is that people will, and this is normal, but people will have a bright window behind them. And of course, what that does is cause us not to be able to see your face. You look like you might be in a witness protection program.
Yes.
Outside.
Okay,
And now it looks like your voice is about to be muffled too, the same way they do on those investigative stories where they talk to the secret person.
That's still too bright, isn't it?
It's okay. You don't have to change it right now. But
Yes.
just some thoughts on how you do that.
But try positioning yourself, even in, we've heard of people doing this from their bathrooms with a plain shower curtain behind them. Go somewhere where there's a very simple, plain background. Oh, I can already see. Oh, that's already a lot better.
That's a lot better. Now we can see you. That's perfect. That's great. Now as we lean in, that's
Now,
perfect.
Perfect, much better. And for an even better shot, if you move a little bit away from, is that a skylight above you?
It is a little bit.
That,
Might be able to-
yeah, right
We're
about
getting
there.
better.
Getting much better.
maybe
You
like-
happen to have a lot of windows where you are. But
I do.
that's much better. And then what I would do if you're facing that way is you can turn the TV off
Mhm.
and
yeah.
have a simple background.
I forgot it was even on.
It's all
But
good.
let's talk about what you're wearing for a minute, Melanie.
Yeah, because I'm just
Getting the TV.
Yeah. Just getting the TV. This is going to be perfection.
We can-
Melanie, you have on a great color tone. Solids are far better on camera. We've also learned this the hard way because we do a lot of TV segments and there are times I'll wear a print dress on TV. From the waist up goes solid. If you're wearing a skirt or pant with a pattern, that's okay because it's not going to steal the eye. But oftentimes patterns on the top can confuse the camera, or the other person will constantly stare at it and wonder what the pattern is and not look at you. Jewel tones look amazing on camera, and women often have more of those in
Must
their
have missed that
closets.
tip today.
Emerald greens, magentas, teals, aquas are great, solid colors,
okay.
as well as the grays and the blues give a clean look.
Oh, I like
And
that.
it gives
Finally,
some
a
props.
clean look. And you had a question, I
Yes.
know. We want to get to your question.
Well, I really didn't have a question other than I just wanted to know how this worked because I've never done it before. At work, I've done a lot of webcam appointments with people
Mhm.
so they can see me, but I'm really small in the corner of the
All right.
computer.
This looks much better. I'd still, once you get down here in the question, kind of narrow it, but you still have a window and the light, but you'll eventually get that.
This is a lot
This a
better.
million times, because when you first came on, we couldn't see your face at all.
Oh, because of the bright light. I gotcha.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's good to know.
Especially for a webcam appointment. We've had lots of people say to us, I can't see myself. I'm in this little tiny icon box. There are also buttons to hit depending what platform you're using, where you can make yourself a presenter box and you can see yourself big, or you can make it more of that thumbnail box.
And Rebecca, being 5'2", always
Oh.
wants to see herself bigger and taller.
Yes.
That's why we're tall, small.
Short plan.
Well, it's
Well,
good
thank
to
you very
know.
much.
First time I've ever done anything like this, so it's really cool.
Congratulations. And you're a
Oh.
natural on camera. You look very comfortable.
Oh, thank you.
All right.
How do I get myself off that once I'm on? How do I take- how do I-
From the audience on what's working or what's not.
Another question now there. Anybody have a question?
Any questions?
We are going to change a few things. Don't be afraid that if you have to make adjustments,
Do it.
go for it. Like I'm trying to do right now.
Right. The bottom of this,
Well, I don't know if that's going to work because this is our first one.
if you go to the bottom,
Would you make it that?
that might not work.
No, I think
We'll
we're
continue off being in this small box.
exactly.
Any other question? You need to roll with the punches.
You
This
can't
whole-
box us in.
No, this whole 3 weeks has been about learning how to pivot your business, your approach. Keith and I will confess something to you. And we don't confess our mistakes.
No,
and
not all of
failures
them, not all of
anyway. But a couple years back, people came to us and they said, do you do webinars? We would love to put you on our webinar circuit. And we were foolish enough to say, no, we only do live workshops because we need space to move around.
So we don't do
want
that
all
webinar
volunteers.
thing. I mean, that's not our deal. Well, let me tell you, this coronavirus, it forces you to make a lot of decisions you didn't think you were going to make before. And we have learned to, do we love doing these all the time? No.
We'd rather be with you in person and see your faces instead of looking back at ours. Nobody wants to look in the mirror all day long.
Well, some people do.
Some people, maybe you.
Oh, some people enjoy that, but no, we want to be with people. But look, this is our reality, and it's going to be a reality for a little bit of time. You can either embrace it or hate it.
And it's awkward. It's very much like going to that first middle school dance where no one quite knows what to do. And you feel awkward, but remember, chances are your customer or your client, whoever you're talking to, feels twice as awkward as you.
But one of the things we caution everyone is not to say, oh, I wish we could meet in person. We have to do this Zoom call. I really wish we could be face to face.
Or a lot of people will start off the call with, I'm really not good at this Zoom thing. I don't know if I look right. I forgot to shower. I don't remember the last time I showered. Never do that. Imagine if you did that on a first date.
That would be the last day.
Yes, there would not be a second date.
Right? And when people say, I'm not very good at this, imagine going to a surgeon their first year in, and they kept saying, you know, we're going to do the surgery, but I don't know, I'm just not really good at it, but we're going to try to get this done. You would think, I am getting the heck out of this hospital. I am running away.
Or someone comes into your store and they ask to see a 2-carat diamond. And you say, oh, I don't really like how any of them look, but this one's good enough. Let me show you this one if you have to see it. Never set the tone in a negative way, because how that call starts off will color the entire outcome of what will happen from the call.
That is true.
That is true.
You're in a staff meeting and you're showing a client a ring or you're talking to a vendor.
there any rules or you just let it rip?
The problem is a lot of people get nervous.
Mhm.
And when people get nervous, our heart rates go up. And when our heart rates go up, it tricks our brain into thinking that we're talking slower than we are. When all of a sudden we start talking like this, like a runaway train. And that's the problem that happens when most people get on a Zoom call and try to make a sale. They talk incredibly fast and they stuff it with a million facts.
Less is more. If you remember the old Navy saying, loose lips sink ships.
Or I like shorter is sweet.
Saying less, but having more power, more impact with your words. You all know that friend that just talks nonstop. When they
Or
call
like
you, you think, I am not answering that phone call because they will talk my ear off. They'll ask you tons of questions. They'll want to review the whole day with you, and they will give you so much information. You'll think, I cannot believe I am still listening. Don't do that in your sales because many people ramble and ramble, especially on Zoom calls, thinking, I gotta get it all in real quick.
And sometimes we don't know whether a call is going to be an introductory call, or a sales call, or what the purpose is. But let's say you do know that it's a sales call. Let's say that I wanted to sell Keith this ring that we got at Nelson Coleman Jewelers.
Did you
There's
say
a
Nelson
club for
Coleman in Baltimore,
AGS
Maryland?
Nelson Coleman in our own hometown, because it's through Nelson Coleman, Amanda Coleman, that we got introduced to the American Jug Society. Now let's say that I was going to sell Keith this
I
ring
am ready.
over Zoom.
Over Zoom.
And I said, well, Keith, I don't know if you can really see this that well. I'm not sure if it's showing through Zoom. It's really beautiful in person, but.
Never go negative and never let, even if you know it's not showing well, don't put the idea. This is the biggest thing people do. They put the seed of the idea in the other person's mind when they might not have been thinking about it at all.
Chances are the person seeing the ring or seeing whatever it is you're showing them, that special piece, they're excited for that moment of escape from the day-to-day reality we've had, and they're excited to see it, and they don't want to hear that it doesn't look the same as if they were in person. One thing you can do is take a picture of the ring in its best light. And then you can share your screen and show that, and then also show it on the finger. But paint the story of the piece. And what we always do is follow the rule of 3.
And going back to that, before we go to the rule of 3, something that just hit me. I was remembering as a kid, you remember this, playing hide and seek. This is when you get these rare moments of inspiration here, right? And how many times you're hiding and someone's going to find you and you think, oh man, they're gonna find me. I know they're gonna find me, and they find you. But when you think, oh, I got a good hiding spot, no one's gonna see me. When you put that in your mind, okay, they don't find you.
Because somehow you make yourself smaller. You're not gonna make the same noises that you do when you think they're gonna find you. It all goes back to that envisioning. Envision that sale happening. Envision getting the results you want, and you're going to portray a far stronger you.
Plus, you're not putting the seed in their mind. If you're sitting there looking at them walk by, you're putting a seed where I'm going to find you. But don't put that out there. Don't to cause a person to doubt.
Instead, you want to follow the rule of 3. Very similar to how when you walk into a home or you walk into a store, things are often shown in 3s. 3 vases. Rarely do you see 4. 3 of something. People are able to absorb 3.
I was looking
We're
back.
not following that rule anywhere in this room right now.
Now, we have decided to go to the rule 2, but that is a highly advanced one that you'll have to have a 30-minute discussion with us on to learn the rules. We're going to start at the elementary level, rule of 3. Right?
Rule of 3.
Okay.
If you are shown a ring, know 3 key things that you're going to share about that ring. Share those, and then you're going to do something
Oh, this
completely
is out of
revolutionary.
control. I know where you're going. I know where you're going.
The trap.
Because many people, silence occurs and they think, oh my gosh, they're silent. I'm silent. This is awkward. This is weird. I better break the silence because it's just freaking me out. Silence. Allow the ideas to percolate, to marinate. I don't know what words can I come up with like that. That was pretty good. Percolate, marinate.
I want to hear more.
Okay, gotta hit another
What's
one.
the word copy?
I know, I didn't know it. But let it sink in. Take some time and quiet time. You know, there's studies out there saying that the decimal level in cities has dropped 20, 30, 40% in some cities. If you'll notice, and I bet if you go outside, you'll notice that it's quieter, less cars, less trains, less buses. And I guarantee you that's allowed you to think deeper. When you have silence, it allows you to really ponder. But it also, you need that person that's thinking about buying, you need to weigh and think about it in their mind.
They need to be able to picture themselves wearing. And if you keep on babbling and talking about the ring, in their mind, it belongs to you, not to them. They need that silence to be able to picture how it will feel for them to be wearing it. We need a volunteer, a bold volunteer from our audience.
I don't think we have anybody on this call bold.
I bet.
I doubt there's anybody bold.
No.
Probably not. I mean, come on. American Gem Society?
We may need Melanie to come back because Melanie's the only one who's been strong enough to show her face.
I wonder if there's somebody else out there that's bold. I'm hoping
What do you
so.
think? Do we have a volunteer? We need somebody.
This will not be radical or very difficult.
No.
Trust me. You will not tax a lot of brain cells on this. This will be a simple thing. We have one volunteer. Imagine all your life you've never volunteered. This is your time
This is your moment.
to step up to the bat. With all the things going on in life, step up. You will have the best day ever after this. You'll think,
Melanie is gonna wish we didn't know her name.
that's right.
Because we're gonna call on you, Melanie. We need somebody we know who's strong enough to return. Melanie, are you still with us?
Melanie's like, I got what I needed. I figured out that whole window deal. I'll see you later. I'm gone.
Gone.
Right? We don't, but let's do it to each other.
Let's do it to each other.
All right.
All right, Keith, you are going to
What am I gonna be doing?
give your hand.
Oh, I like that. Give me a hand. Got a hand right here.
Our doors.
Absolutely.
Let's let them see that up close.
Absolutely.
See what we have here. We have a hand. And Keith is going to sell me this estate piece that came in to the store.
I'm gonna sell you this estate piece.
Scott Jewelry.
Scotch, I like the sound of that. Scotch. Well, I wouldn't shake hands with you, but let's pretend we're back in the old days.
Well, no, you're gonna sell it over Zoom.
Oh, I'm gonna sell it over. I got it. I thought you were taking it back to the old
This is toast seafood.
house.
Did you hear our dog just rumble at that? He doesn't even like our juice. We have a 150-pound Saint Bernard in the background. You may or may not be able to see right now.
Rebecca, it's wonderful to talk to you today.
Great to talk to you. I'm a little nervous about this Zoom thing.
Oh, you're a
Pause.
natural.
Your clients will probably tell you they're nervous, and that's where you want to butter them up and let them know that they've got this.
Right, let's try that again.
Okay.
One more time. Rebecca, it's great to see you out here on video.
Good to see you too. I've never done this before. Can you see me?
Well, let me tell you, you are wearing the right colors. You are an absolutely
Really?
natural.
Thank you.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Thank you. Are you flirting?
I would never. I wanted to tell you something. You just got this piece in the other day. This is an amazing hand, a estate piece.
Wow.
This is over 250 years old. Beautiful, beautiful piece.
And what made
Hands
you
up.
think of me for that?
Well, you always say in life you need an extra hand.
Wow.
Is he corny? That's
Is he
what you're
corny?
thinking. That's what
He's
you're
been
thinking.
reading too many dad jokes.
And I thought of you because you need a hand in life to help you out. But this would look amazing on your desk. I think every day
Wow.
that you will always have an extra hand to help you.
I wasn't even thinking about making a purchase, but I could really use something different.
Well, this is definitely different. It can also be used as a self-defense mechanism. If someone comes in, you can hit them over the head. You got the point, right?
Now, did you notice Keith did not go on and on and on about the hand? But he made me feel special because he told me he thought of me. And this is a great time to do some prospecting if you are a jewelry store owner or manager or salesperson. One of the great things you can do is go through your estate collection, go through the rest of this collection in the store, and think about pieces that are a match for different clients. And call them and tell them you've been thinking about them and a certain piece made you pick up the phone or the Zoom. How can you pick up the Zoom?
That's
I don't
right,
know the
pick
way
up
to
the
say
Zoom.
that yet. But that you wanted to reach out to them because of
Also, let's say you don't have any pieces. Reach out to your clients and let them know you're alive. A lot of people just get dead air. It's like the business is gone. It's as though they've evaporated. You need to keep that communication and you need to keep the marketing going because when the virus goes, and it will,
The people that have reached out over this time, the people that have continued in the marketing, the people who have continued to have a voice, they will be the winners. The people who just stopped everything and just sat there twiddling their thumbs, freaking out, are going to lose.
Because those people will lose the confidence from their customers. You may not have your doors open and people are not walking in, but it's time to get over that, because at first too, the first couple of weeks, we were miserable because we kept thinking we miss our clients, we miss seeing them in person, we miss doing in-person workshops, we're tired of being in our living room. But when you get into those trenches, you don't go anywhere. Friction moves you forward. You have to get out there and do what's uncomfortable. We started picking up the phone and emailing and reaching out to all of our clients and telling them how we could still be there for them. And amazing things happen when you do that.
And here's a trick or tip on Facebook, on LinkedIn, even on Twitter. There's a fast way to leave a message. And most people don't do this because most people think, I can type all these messages to everybody. There's a little button down there of a microphone. You can leave a voicemail message. Why is this important? Because first of all, they hear your voice. A lot of people aren't hearing anybody but their own partner. They say when the divorce courts open up again, there's going to be a line after
You
this.
haven't been in this.
Not us. Sorry, not us.
Okay.
But the fact is, leave a voicemail. People want to hear another voice. It's amazing. And the second thing is, you can do it quickly. If you're not into typing a million people, you leave a 20-second voice message. It goes right on their messages on LinkedIn or Facebook. And then they have an opportunity to listen to another human voice. And it puts you, it separates you in the marketplace.
And then people feel as though they already know you because they've heard your voice. And something else you can do during this time, if you're not quite ready to do the Zoom calls all day, make yourself an hour every morning to focus on social media. A lot of people in your industry will tell us, I don't have time to post. I don't have time. Customers keep coming in and calling. I can't get to it. Take the pictures of your most incredible pieces, post them, but don't just post them. Include the story of the pieces and give people a way to reach out to you for Zoom or a call to talk and learn about those pieces. It's a great way to move things forward during this time.
One of the fun things that we love to do is to post polls. People love polls. If you, let's say, go to your estate section, have 3 pieces of jewelry or 1 piece, and have people guess on what year it was created or how old it is, and have a poll. You would be amazed how many people answer a poll compared to viewing a post.
One of our other favorite things, another plug for Nelson Coleman, is back when we'd go to networking events, they were often there and they'd have a table set up and they'd have 3 or 4 rings out. And you had to guess which one was the fake garnet or which one was not a garnet and was something else. This is the time to have some fun with your clients, your shoppers, to get them to get coronavirus off their minds. Do polls, do quizzes, play games, have prizes, do something different where people want to come back and check your sites to see what you're up to. We would love to hear some of your questions.
Because guarantee you, if we were in an audience, face-to-face audience, someone would have a question. But now that we're on the Zoom, people seem a bit
It gets uncomfortable, and a lot of people will tell us, well, I wanted to ask a question, but I didn't get dressed for the Zoom. I didn't know anyone would see me on the Zoom. But we're all family here.
We're all family and we're not going to judge it. But guarantee you, if you ask a question, you are doing a service for other people on this call. Because we like to help real life situations, boots on the ground situations. You don't want to just hear talking heads the whole time. We want to hear from you. What's going on and what can we chat about?
Because we love to fix things on the spot.
And imagine your question could have a direct impact on someone else on this call. And if there's any better time than this social crisis that we're having with the virus is to help another person, you may not have donated mass. You may not be volunteering at the food bank. You can help another person with their business state.
Be there for each other in a way we've never been able to do so before. Well, we'll throw out a question then.
Oh.
One of the questions we often get from people is, I wear glasses. Can I wear my glasses on a Zoom call or should I take them off? I'm more comfortable with my glasses. And the answer depends on your lighting. Do a test with someone in your family and see if there's a glare. This morning, we talked to someone who had glasses, and it was very distracting because all we could see is that glare. But other times we talk to people with glasses and it's fine. Do a test. Prepare for the Zoom. You only need to do it once. Right now, Keith and I know every single spot in our home where we can do an effective Zoom call and where we can't.
And this is the only, only place. Also, if you have a little glare on the glasses and you decide to take them off and you look completely uncomfortable, like you have a bad stomachache, that's worse. Better to keep a little glare and keep the glasses on than to take them off because you think that looks better. But trust me, or trust us, everyone is going to know you're uncomfortable. People can sense it in a heartbeat.
Similar to, there was a Baltimore politician, and he would always have his hands stuffed in his pockets when he would give a talk. And that's something we recommend that nobody does in real life.
You like this?
Zoom.
Well, I just want to talk to you about a few things.
You're giving up all your body language. And this is something else you don't want to do on a Zoom call because body language is 70% of communication. You need to use your hands. But this politician, his handlers, his PR people sewed all of his pants pockets closed. They probably didn't do it themselves. They took it to the dry cleaners, but had all of his pants sewed closed. And then it turned out to not work very well because guess what happened?
When he went to give a call, he kept doing this. Give a speech, he kept doing this and putting his hands. And he looked like a freak, all right, in front of all the people. And real quickly, they decided this is going to mess up this guy's candidacy. And they had all the stitches taken out of his pants.
Because use your own judgment. There are things that we say are best practices, and they are because we know what we're talking about. But if it's going to make you look even worse when you try to do them, throw it out the window.
Don't
follow your own rules.
Questions? Got to be someone. Frank, Bob, Sally, Julie, Jennifer, Sam, Richard.
We know you're out there.
What's some more names? Anne.
We would love to hear from you.
Juliet.
Because our webinars are interactive. We don't believe that same way in our talks, we never stand at a podium and preach at people or deliver a lecture. This is not a college lecture class. This is an interactive experience. We want you to leave getting the information that you want. And the best way to do that is for you to participate and ask a question.
The whole reason Rebecca and I started this business 6 years ago, I was a lobbyist, Rebecca was a TV reporter.
Two evil people.
Because we would go out and go to conferences and listen to speakers and think, I do not know why they either picked a speaker or why anybody would pay the speaker. I mean, these people were boring. And we thought, we got to help these speakers out. And then the second reason is there's a lot of quiet folks out there that have a lot of good ideas, but the loudmouths are ruling the world. We want to help the quiet people get their voice heard.
I have a question.
That's why. Yes.
You guys work so well together. How long have you been married?
Just a week. No, I'm kidding.
We got married last year. No,
Last
I'm
year.
kidding. We've been married for 4 years. This is a second marriage for each of us, and we call our original marriage the practice marriage, where we worked out all the kinks. And one thing that we haven't had to struggle with during this time is we've always been together 24/7. A lot of people have that as a challenge.
Thank you. Took me a while. I was trying to type my question, and I am a dinosaur and just figured out how to make my microphone work. So thank you.
Good
Thank
luck.
you.
You learned something. That's the key.
I did, yes.
Now that we have you here, now that we have a volunteer, we want to hear, how are things going for you? Tell us your name, where you are, and a little bit how the past couple of weeks have been.
Well, my name's Michelle Jones, and I live in Southern California, and I work at the Jeweler's Touch in Placentia. And I am so thankful for Ken and Jana Roots, who own the store. They have put in a plan to pay their employees and stay home and work and learn so that we're prepared when we do get back.
That's wonderful. That's really.
Yes. So as a dinosaur, I've been in the industry for 40 years, but I'm just learning about the backgrounds of computers and such. So it's nice to have the time to be at home to learn all of that. And it was trial and error just to get my conversation out to you. So I feel like a winner already.
You are. We guarantee you.
We love that.
This is something you're going to use in the future, because this is something, especially as we've got the millennials coming up. Next thing you know, that Gen Z is going to be getting married if they're not already. people are going to want this kind of interaction more so than the old. People are going to get used to this.
And it'll be a balance. Where we always tell people bilingual, be able to communicate. If you're doing the Zoom, as things get back, you'll have face-to-face, but the nice thing is you can use both. And you'll have the skills to use both for whatever you need. But we just credit you for coming on board. Thank you.
Well, thank
And
you.
we have a challenge for you, Michelle. The next time you try this, we want you to find where the video button is and share your face on video too. Because right now, all we can do is compliment your outfit. It's black and white, which is always classy.
Oh, you can see me.
No, we can't. We see it.
No, I'm in black and white.
We didn't want to get to that right off because we were proud of you. Get that
Yes.
question out there.
No, I am, my camera is in the mail and it must be on a slow boat from China.
So that was a good one. That was good.
And if you have a smartphone, that's something also that works very well for these calls.
I'll try that.
All right.
Excellent.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you. And do we have another brave person with a question?
Another person. I mean, you just heard Michelle ask the question. She's been trying. There's got to be someone else out there tech savvy that has a
And we
question.
realize it can be awkward because a lot of you probably have not used Zoom or asked a question via Zoom. There might be someone with a question who doesn't know what button to hit, same way as Michelle. Michelle, if you're still there, can you tell people how to ask a question? All you need to do is hit that raise your hand button.
The raise your hand button. You hit that raise your hand button, and we've got the Wizard of Oz behind the scenes that'll unmute you, and you can ask that question. Just hit that raise your hand button, and you can ask us any question.
Anything.
We can't guarantee we'll answer it,
Or truthfully, but you can ask.
but you can ask anything you want. Nothing is off the limits, is it, Rebecca?
No, while we're waiting for that question, a couple ways to stay in touch with us. On Facebook, if you type in Tall Small Productions, join our page, join our group, because every single day we're either going live or putting out daily tips on how to communicate best practices, mistakes people are making, how they're learning from them, ways to get your point across better in this new normal.
We've got podcasts, we have a LinkedIn page, you name it. We are all over the place, and we love working with people, not only groups, but we work with tons of people one-on-one through Zoom, working on their body language, the public speaking, the presentation. So if you're sitting there now thinking, I can't ask a question, I am freaked out about this
That's
Zoom,
okay.
we'll work with you.
In fact, if any of you want to give us a call or schedule your own Zoom call, we can do that. We can walk you through how to get more comfortable on that. And you can always, on Facebook or LinkedIn or on our podcast, which is Tall Small, you can type it in on any podcast platform. There are boxes where you can leave a comment or a question, and we will get back to you right away. Or you can reach us by email at Keith and Rebecca at tallsmallproductions.org. And the and between Keith and Rebecca is all spelled out.
One more question, come on, one brave.
We have time for
final
one final
soul.
question. And remember, we talked about the power of three before. We've had two questions.
Yeah, we have to have three.
We need three.
Or our day is gonna be shot. I mean, you can't leave us hanging on two questions.
Can you hear me?
Yes, thank you.
There we go, it's a prize winner, yes.
You know, you're on YouTube. You're streaming with YouTube, so it's kind of a little more difficult than the regular Zoom screen. The Zoom
Oh.
screen has all the buttons and whistles that you can put your video on and so forth and so on. Now, I'm not an expert, but I've been listening to you and watching you. And then when I heard that Michelle, I did the lower hand, raise hand, and I didn't unmute me, so I just unmuted myself. But you
There you
can't.
go.
Good for you.
You took initiative, I like that.
That says a lot about success in life. If it's not happening for you, just go out there and do it. I love that.
You can't see me though,
Tell us
can you?
where you're calling from and your name.
Huh?
What is your name?
It doesn't come up on the screen. Theodore, like Roosevelt.
All
Nice to
right.
meet you, Theodore. And where are you based?
San Antonio, great state of Texas.
Wonderful.
And you get to be our final
The Lone Star
takeaway
State.
for today. Tell us your question. And we'd
My
love to
question
hear-
was, can you hear me?
I
I
can
can
hear you,
hear you.
can't see you, but we can
Tell me
hear
my
you.
thank you for being there. You're a great couple. But
Oh, thank you very much.
What
Thank
is
you.
your top takeaway from this session today? One thing you're going to take and run with.
I couldn't hear you. I'm sorry.
No
I couldn't
problem.
hear what you were asking me.
What is one thing you can share with the audience that you're going to take away from this webinar?
That you better get in with the 21st century social media or whatever you call this stuff. I'm like Michelle. I've been around a long time, and I'm having not a difficult time, but a slower time getting used to all the 21st century stuff. I probably should be retired and not worry about any of this.
No, but if Theodore can do it, we can all do it,
Trust
right,
me,
Theodore?
Theodore, I would a million times
Yeah.
rather be in front of a live audience than doing
Always.
this. But it's one of those things in life, you're like, well, what else can I do? You have to learn to adopt this technology.
And
Exactly.
then later in life, we're all gonna have this as a fantastic backup plan. Oh, and our St. Bernard decided.
That's a beauty. That's a beautiful thought.
Across the stage. He may not be giving you the best view. I think you can only see his butt right now.
That's how he is. Thank you for calling in.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for you being there.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Theodore. And thank you to Michelle and to Melanie and to everybody else who wanted to ask a question, didn't quite know how to do it. And thank you to all of our participants for being here
And
today.
thank you to Kyle,
Yes, thank you to Kyle from the American Jump Society.
behind the scenes to make this happen, helping us out to make this happen.
Thank you, everyone, and have a wonderful day. And we wish all of you good health and safety in the weeks and months to come.
Take care, everybody.